You went to IKEA to buy a bookshelf. You came home with the bookshelf, two throw pillows, a set of wine glasses, a plant you did not need, a bag of meatballs, and a genuine emotional attachment to a $12 lamp. This happens to almost everyone who walks into IKEA. And it is not a coincidence. Every single thing about the IKEA experience, the layout, the lighting, the meatballs, the tiny pencils, the fact that you have to build the furniture yourself, is a deliberate psychological mechanism designed to make you spend more money than you planned to. IKEA generated 45.1 billion euros in sales in 2024. Their stores were visited 915 million times in 2025 alone. That is not furniture. That is a trap. A very comfortable, flat-packed, meatball-scented trap. Let us start with the most obvious one, the maze. Every IKEA store in the world is designed as a one-way path. There is one route through the store. You cannot cut across. You cannot go backwards without significant effort. You follow the arrows on the floor whether you like it or not. This is not because IKEA could not design a normal store layout. They absolutely could. They chose not to. The technical name for what they are doing is the gruen effect, named after architect Victor Gruen, who designed some of the first shopping malls and noticed that people placed in a large, confusing, stimulating environment became disoriented, slowed down, and started buying things they had no intention of buying when they walked in. IKEA took that discovery and built an entire retail empire around it. The maze layout means the average IKEA visit lasts between 2 and 3 hours. Most furniture stores, 20 minutes. IKEA keeps you in the building for the equivalent of a short film, a long lunch, or an entire argument about whether you need a new kitchen. And every minute you spend in that building, you are walking past things you did not know you wanted. There are no windows in IKEA. There are no clocks either. This is not a design oversight. It is a calculated decision to remove every sensory cue that tells your brain how long you have been there and what time it is. You walk in at 11 a.m. and emerge, blinking into the car park at 2 p.m. with no idea where the afternoon went and 4 bags of things you technically chose to buy. Consumer psychology expert Paul Harrison has noted that IKEA's layout overwhelms the senses specifically to stop shoppers from thinking about time and space. No windows, no clocks, warm lighting, comfortable room displays, the smell of Swedish meatballs drifting from the restaurant upstairs. You are not shopping. You are in a very carefully engineered alternative reality where the normal rules of time and budget do not apply. The showroom is the second mechanism, and it is brilliant. IKEA does not show you furniture. It shows you a life. Every display is a fully decorated room, a complete bedroom, a fully equipped kitchen, a living room with the right lighting and the right rug, and a book on the coffee table that makes it look like someone slightly more organized than you actually lives there. You are not being shown a bookshelf. You are being shown what your home could look like if you bought the bookshelf and the side table and the lamp and the throw and the 8 small decorative items arranged on the shelf. This is intentional. Research confirms that seeing a complete room setup dramatically increases the likelihood of purchasing multiple items rather than a single one. The technical term is aspirational display. The practical effect is that you came in for a bookshelf and left with a vision of a better version of your life that happened to cost 340 euros. Now here is the mechanism that nobody talks about, the one that is genuinely strange. IKEA makes you build the furniture yourself, and it turns out that is one of the most psychologically powerful things they do. In 2011, researchers from Harvard Business School, Yale, and Duke University published a paper about what they called the IKEA effect. They found that people who assembled furniture themselves were willing to pay 63% more for it than for identical pre-assembled furniture. 63% for the same piece of furniture, just because they built it. The explanation is that effort creates attachment. When you put 2 hours of your Sunday afternoon into assembling a PAX wardrobe, including the 20 minutes where you realize you put one panel in backwards and have to take the whole thing apart, you become emotionally invested in that wardrobe. It is not just a wardrobe anymore. It is your wardrobe. You made it with your own hands and an Allen key. The frustration is part of the mechanism. The effort is the point. IKEA does not make you assemble furniture only because it is cheaper for them to ship it flat. The real reason is that assembly makes you love the product more than you would have if it arrived pre-built. They have been using this trick since 1956. Researchers only named it in 2011. The meatballs. IKEA sells around 1.4 billion meatballs per year. They are one of the most recognized food products on Earth. They cost almost nothing. They are deliberately priced as a loss leader, meaning IKEA charges less than the cost of making them, specifically to get you into the restaurant, fed, comfortable, and in a good mood before you continue shopping. This is the same mechanism as the Costco rotisserie chicken. Cheap food as an emotional investment in the customer. A hungry, tired shopper leaves. A fed, comfortable shopper keeps browsing. But there is something even more calculated happening with the restaurant. IKEA placed it in the middle of the store. Not at the end, not at the entrance. In the middle. So, when you have been walking the maze for an hour, your feet are starting to hurt, and you are considering leaving, the restaurant appears like an oasis. You sit down, you eat, you recover, and then you finish the rest of the store. IKEA describes itself as operating one of the world's largest restaurant chains. Even though it is officially a furniture retailer, they are not wrong. The tiny pencils and paper measuring tapes. Every IKEA store has small yellow pencils and paper measuring tapes positioned throughout the showroom for you to take and use freely. This is not generosity. The moment you pick up an IKEA pencil and write down a product number, your brain has made a micro-commitment. You are no longer browsing. You are planning a purchase. Psychological research consistently shows that small acts of commitment, writing something down, adding something to a list, significantly increase the likelihood of following through. The pencil is the foot in the door. The purchase is the door. So, let us step back and look at what IKEA has actually built. A store with no windows and no clocks, so you lose track of time. A one-way maze that forces you past every product in the building. A showroom that sells you a lifestyle rather than individual items. A restaurant in the middle that refuels you before you can leave. Furniture you assemble yourself so you love it 63% more than you should. A pencil that turns you from a browser into a buyer. And 45.1 billion euros in annual sales. Every single element is a psychological mechanism. Every detail was a decision. Nothing in an IKEA store is accidental. So, here is what I want you to think about. IKEA sells genuinely affordable furniture using genuinely clever psychology to get you to buy more of it. Is that manipulation? Or is it just very, very good retail? And the next time you are standing in an IKEA showroom at 2 p.m. on a Saturday, holding a pencil, surrounded by things you did not come in to buy, genuinely wondering how you got there, you know exactly how you got there. Drop your answer below.